Hi, this is Jason Nickleby, Coordinator of Officiating Services with the Minnesota State High School League, and this is football officiating training tape number 7. This tape will not be on Arbiter for credit, just a tape that will be placed on YouTube so you can view it at your convenience. Again, thank you for taking these in and having conversations with your crew about these topics and others as you prepare for games. And you don't have to agree with anything I say in these tapes, just trying to provide you with some topics for discussion and things that you can work together on a crew so we're in the best possible shape as we move forward into games this weekend and into the postseason. So appreciate all of your hard work. Keep it up. Again, when we're looking at these plays, not picking on any one team or player or official or crew, just trying to learn from these plays as we move forward. So again, great work out there. Keep it up. And with that, let's take a look at some plays. Okay, on this one, I just want to stress the importance of slowing down our process and just our pre-snap routine and how we get ready for each play. So you notice this is the very beginning of the game, first play. So we're going to have a ready for play signal by the referee. And remember, in situations like this, no hurry to blow the whistle ready for play. If you notice the line judge at the top of the screen is going over to talk to the chains, and we're already snapping the ball, and he's not even on the line of scrimmage. So officials, if we're not positioned to officiate, we need to shut the play down. We can't go on with plays if we're not ready to officiate. Most importantly, referees, we need to take a scan around at all of our officials on the crew, make sure they're in the position they need to be, and then let's blow it for ready for play. Secondly, let the umpire get out of there and then blow it for ready for play. We don't want to blow it ready for play while they're over the football, because if they snap it now, we're not in position to officiate as the umpire either. So no hurry. Don't blow it ready for play till we're all in position. And let's have a pre-snap routine, counting players, snap, tackle back from the line of scrimmage, that kind of progression. Those are the pieces that we need to have for each play and be consistent about it so that when we have a play that gets really funky, we already go through a routine that keeps us from making basic mistakes. So make sure, referees, look around at your crew. Don't blow it in until everyone's ready. Let's go through a pre-snap routine. And finally, for all the officials, if you're not in position to officiate, shut the play down. They get one freebie, and then we need to start penalizing. You need to be in position to officiate, but don't penalize them if it's our fault if we put the teams in that position by going too fast. So slow ourselves down, follow a routine, make sure everyone is ready. Okay, scrimmage kick here. We've talked quite extensively about our mechanics with scrimmage kicks, and I just want to remind back judges again, don't come up too quick. I've seen that many times on video in the past and again this year, and that's our point of emphasis mechanically, back judges, to stay deep, officiate the play forward. You're going to be in much better position to see what you need to see, yet not get caught up in the play and get in the way and straight line yourself. So stay back. Your partners coming down the sidelines can assist in the field of play as well, but ultimately, back judges, point of emphasis, stay back, wait till the receiver catches the ball, and then you can move as necessary. But for the most part, we can just officiate that play from where we're at. So just a reminder for back judges. The next thing we have running into the kicker, and we've talked about considerations for this. So if we have contact with the kicking leg and it's not substantial, we're going to have running into the kicker. If we have contact with the plant leg or substantial contact to the body overall, we're going to have roughing. In this case, pretty minor contact, enough for a foul, but with the kicking leg, therefore we would have running into the kicker. And remember that running into the kicker is not a tack on foul, so to speak, from an enforcement perspective. They either have to take it from the previous spot or decline and allow for the result of the play. So in this case, it was 4th and 17. A 5-yard penalty wasn't going to do much. They downed it at the 18-yard line, so they figured, you know what, we're not going to kick this one again because we're not going to do much better, or potentially may not do as well. So referees, we can probably just communicate this with the sideline. We don't necessarily have to do a preliminary signal, but we can communicate with the sideline that it's only going to be a 5-yard variety, and then get into the announcement, which we do here, running into the kicker on the defense, announce the number, penalties declined, result of the play is 1st and 10 for the receiving team. And just stay there and give a nice, good first down signal, and then you can move on to your next responsibility. So keep those in mind, referees, for running into the kicker and roughing, whether it's plant leg or kicking leg or substantial body contact. That's what we're looking for those pieces. And then finally, back judges. Again, we talked about our mechanics and what we are doing looking forward, but take a look at this replay here and see where the punt is touched. It's initially touched by K at the 20-yard line and subsequently is possessed down there, or down at the 18-yard line, and that's where we give it to him. So remember, if we have first touching of the kick, we're going to put that at that spot, at the most advantageous spot in this case. So just something to be aware of. You know, it's only 2 yards, but it's initially touched about the 20, and we end up giving it to them at the 18, and that's really where the ball should be if we're going to be most accurate. So we would get a beanbag down at the 20. We would kill the play at the end of the down where it is downed at the 18, and then indicate first touching and move up to the 20 and give it to him there. So just a couple things to clean up and keep in mind relative to our back judge mechanics, both positioning and then first touching, and then referees' considerations for roughing and running into the kicker. Okay, 3rd and 8 here, middle of the second quarter. Just remembering our basic mechanics, know that this is a likely passing down. That's what we have here. And we roll out to the umpire side. Remember, umpires mechanically just going to turn and officiate inside out. And the umpire gets back and covers the goal line here. We move out a little bit too far, but again, this wasn't an emphasis last year. This is an emphasis this year that we're going to turn and pivot and officiate inside out and look at the blocks at point of attack. And we ultimately have an interception on this play that's returned for a touchdown, and we have excellent coverage by the umpire getting back to cover the goal line. Remember, we talked about it a few weeks ago that if we have a change of possession play like this one, the referee is going to have primary for the quarterback, and the umpire will have primary for covering the goal line along with the line of scrimmage officials. But it doesn't mean that we don't officiate anyone else or anything else. We still need to keep everything in our periphery and keep everything in front, keep a good angle, and help officiate. You know, that includes referees. Even though the quarterback's your primary, let's pick up, blocks around the quarterback as well. Look for those blindside blocks, illegal block below the waist, those kinds of things, because those tend to happen on change of possession plays like this one. But ultimately, we have excellent coverage. We get back to the goal line, great hustle, nicely done by the umpire. It's your one chance to signal touchdown, maybe the whole year, so show us your stuff, and we do a good job there. The only thing I would say, just to be picky, and this goes for back judges as well, when we have a touchdown where they cross the goal line, especially on long runs like this, and we are in the middle of the field, let's just turn and face the ball carrier like we have a camera in our belt buckle, and just turn and face the ball carrier. That way, if they're tackled late, if they spike the ball, those kinds of things, we will have eyes on it. If we just keep our eyes straight down the goal line, we're not going to pick that sort of thing up. So that's the only thing I would say about this play. Umpires, inside out coverage, primary for the goal line, referees, primary for quarterback. Pick up blocks in your periphery, blindside block, illegal block below the waist. And then when we get to the goal line, if we do have a touchdown, turn and face the ball carrier like you have a camera in your belt buckle. But overall, this is excellent hustle and coverage. All right, on this play, I just want to demonstrate a really good example of dead ball officiating and controlling the pace. So, see the umpire comes in, closes on players, they hand them the football, which is great, but the best part about this is we control the pace. And remember, we're not going a million miles an hour. We're not putting the ball down the very second we can. Our goal is to put the ball on the ground between 28 and 32 seconds remaining on the play clock each play, unless time is a factor at the end of the second or fourth quarter. Outside of that, we're going to have a consistent pace. And the main reason for that is umpires is our line of scrimmage officials and our back judges, now that they are officiating more of the run game, they are coming in an accordion so they can officiate the dead ball action and have a proximity. And if they're going to do that, we need to give them time to get back to their position so they can get set up and then have time to go through their pre-snap routine. As you know, when we go too fast, don't do our pre-snap routine, we make mistakes. And we don't want to make mistakes that we can avoid. And a way that we can avoid mistakes is by slowing down the pace. And that's precisely what this umpire does here. Officiates his dead ball responsibilities, officiates the players, and then see how he waits. No hurry to put the ball on the ground. This is excellent. This is exactly what we want to see, controlling the pace. He could have put the ball down right then, but if he does that, I guarantee the line of scrimmage officials and the back judge are not in position ready to officiate, and that's not what we want. So this is excellent mechanics, perfect pace, control of pace by the umpire. And if we do this consistently throughout the game, we're going to be in really good shape as a crew. We will be making less mistakes, and that's what everybody wants, both the coaches, the players, and us. So keep up the good work in this regard. And referees, also note, we're starting the game clock. If this were to be a first down, we would have started the game clock right then, even though the umpire hasn't put the ball on the ground. So we've done a good job of that, and we've noted that in other tapes, but I just wanted to call your attention to that aspect as well. But overall, this is really well done by the umpire here. All right, we spent a lot of time in these tapes talking about offensive holding and our point of emphasis there. And I think there's some misconceptions out there that we do not want holding called, and that's not accurate. What we want is blocks that are illegal in that they are at the point of attack. They have a material restriction on the person being blocked, and we can put it in a category. If so, then we should be putting a flag down. It's not to say that we're not going to call holding on the backside, but if they tackle somebody, then yeah, we're going to call that. If it's a counter play and they come back towards the backside and they have holding action that meets that criteria, then yes, we should put a flag on the ground. But we've done a pretty good job, I would say, this year of not calling marginal holding, and that's where we needed to improve. Now, in this particular example, I want to point something out that I would say at all levels of football we're not the greatest at, and that's defensive holding. by linemen and linebackers. So if you notice here in this block here, defensive end at the bottom of the screen, he engages the offensive player and just turns and throws them to the ground right at the point of attack. And this prevents that offensive player from going downfield and completing another block because he just got thrown to the ground and potentially cost them some yardage. So I would certainly support defensive holding on this play, and we would enforce 10 yards from the end of the run on a defensive hold like this. So if you see here on the replay, he just turns and spins them into the ground right at the point of attack. And I think this is more of a mechanics thing that we need to make sure we get our vision to blocks. So if we're looking here, line of scrimmage, right at the point of attack, and see this initial engagement, we should be able to have an opinion on this block. Also, we should have an opinion from back judge considering that it is involving the tight end on that side. So back judge should have an opinion on this as well. Remember, we're trying to have more of a presence in run game officiating from the back judge. And so we would need to get our eyes there as the back judges as well. And I think we would pick this up. And then I think we just need to condition ourselves or train ourselves to keep in mind that the defense can also hold. And so we need to make sure that we get our vision to this first, and then remember that if the defensive player grabs this offensive player and restricts, takes him to the ground, like in this case, to prevent him from going to the second level and completing another block, that would be defensive holding that we would want called. And I think this is definitely an example of that. Again, it's something that we're maybe not as good at. Part of it is mechanics and vision and where we're looking, and the other part of it is just training ourselves to know and understand that if we can put it at the point of attack, material restriction category, the defense can also foul for holding. So let's keep that in mind, both mechanically and our vision, and just train ourselves to think that this is a possibility. But this is a defensive hold that we would want called. Okay, after showing the umpire in his excellent coverage at the goal line, wanted to show a good example from our back judge. So remember our read step, back judges. So we're going to take one step and then pause, and we need to read the guards. If the guards stand straight up, likely a pass block, and then we can get into a back pedal potentially. If they block down or other run blocking type maneuvers, then we can read run and we just stay put until we have to move. But remember to keep the cushion, and then we want to beat them to the goal line, especially on a play like this, because we're roughly 20 yards from the ball to start the play. But in this particular case, just gets right through there. Nice run by 23 here, and we're right at the goal line. And the best part, well, there's a number of great parts about this. One, we're at the goal line waiting for him. Number two, maybe most importantly, we are really patient. We're not in a hurry to blow the whistle, put our hands in the air, and we just are really nice and calm in our presence and in our signal. And that just tells me we're under control. And that's going to serve us really well, both on just this play, but also throughout the game. So really well done here. Nice and calm, under control. Great positioning. This is excellent. This is really what we want to see. Back judges, read step, run or pass, beat him to the goal line, under control, make sure he crosses with possession. We do a great job of that here. And then just a reminder, just like with the umpires, again, turn and face players like you have a camera in your belt buckle to keep everything within your field of vision. But overall, this is excellent mechanics and positioning by this back judge. Okay, scrimmage kick here again. Very early in the game, as you can see, only 2 minutes in. Back judges, again, stay back. I think we can be even a little bit further back than we are in this example, and that really would help us as this play, the way it develops, how we would be looking up through these players and could assist with down, not down. Clearly, the ball's out. We do a nice job of whistle control here by the crew, not putting air in the whistle unnecessarily. That would have really put us in a really bad spot if we do that, and we don't do that. So excellent whistle control. Line judges down there to assist. Try to stay in the white if you can, line of scrimmage on a return like this. Just don't want you to get caught up with any of the players. But back judges, I think if we're a little bit deeper, we're going to be in a much better spot to take this play. But ultimately, we turn around and cover the goal line. Remember that on a punt like this, a scrimmage kick, and we have a nice beanbag as well, so good mechanic there at the end of the kick, because we're going to need that in case we have a foul. But we do a nice job there. But remember, if we have clear possession and then a fumble, then we can have a return by either team. If the ball is not secured by the return team and subsequently is recovered by K, they cannot advance, but they would have the ball at that spot. In this case, clearly possession by the return man. Gets hit, ball comes out while he's still upright, and we properly allow this kicking team player to return this ball for a touchdown. So do a nice job, great coverage, keep everything in front of us. Just make note of provisions for kicks on when the kick ends, how that affects penalty enforcement, how that affects which team gets to keep the ball, if we have a muff versus a fumble, those kinds of things. Just review those pieces in kick rules. And then again, positioning on scrimmage kicks is a point of emphasis for us, back judges especially. Want to make sure that you are working a little bit deeper and officiate the play forward. And that will really assist us, especially when a play develops the way this one does. But ultimately, good beanbag, good coverage, good whistle control and patience, and we do a nice job handling this play overall. So nice job by the crew here. Just a couple things to think about relative to scrimmage kicks. This last one involves a field goal attempt. Again, first quarter, so early part of the game, and we can get complacent and we can kind of get caught off guard when something like this happens, especially early in the game. So you see here that the kick never really gets off. We have blocked kick, we have bad snap, muff snap, those kinds of things can really catch us off guard. So we just need to be prepared on any kick play really for things to not go well. Always prepare for the unexpected on kick plays in particular, blocked kicks, fakes, anything unusual, just be prepared for that. And then we need to know who can do what. Numbering exceptions, who can go up for a pass, who can touch the ball, who can advance a loose ball. Did it cross the neutral zone or not? Can K recover? Can K advance? Can R advance any place? All those kinds of considerations, and we can't talk about all of them on one play. There's quite a number of them. So review those in the kicking rules again. And then just from a coverage standpoint, we put a pretty heavy emphasis on this training tape about coverage by the crew during reverse mechanics situations. So change of possession, blocked kicks, interceptions, fumble returns, muffed kicks, etc. We've had quite a number of those examples on this tape, and so I think it's a really good opportunity for us as crews to discuss, if we have a blocked kick, who's looking where and who's responsible for what. If we have an interception return, if it's up the middle, if it's to the sideline, if we have a fumble and there's a pileup, who's responsible for officiating the pile? Who's responsible for blocks? Who's responsible for um, communication with the crew? There's just a lot of pieces that we have to piece together, and we can get really discombobulated during these change of possession type situations. And when we get discombobulated a little bit, we lose focus, and we do tend to make a few more mistakes. So, um, talk these through with your crews about blocked kicks, fakes, interception returns, muffed kicks, um, just different goofy type situations that can come up, and just talk about who's responsible for the ball, who's responsible for blocks, dead ball officiating, communication, um, and how we adjust as the play progresses throughout the down. So a lot of factors. Let's talk about those as crews this week. I think that will really serve us well when these types of unusual situations occur in our games. Okay, that will do it for training tape 7. This tape will not be on Arbiter for credit, just on YouTube, on the YouTube channel for crews to watch at their convenience. And again, we talked about quite a number of change of possession and scrimmage kick plays, and I think that would be a good topic of discussion for our crews in pre-games this week for our games. We're doing a good job. Keep it up. Probably one more tape to share next week as we head into section playoffs, but stay healthy, stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.